It's Hyp3r Halloween! Invaders from Mars is another movie where the title pretty much does all of my work for me. It's like Killer Clowns from Outer Space in that regard. We know what we're getting right off the bat. Aliens from Mars. In any case, today's video is on the 1986 Tobe Hooper movie. I'm not sure how to transition to the plot summary without making the same joke again, so I'll make it anyway. The movie is set around alien invaders from Mars, and a young boy that discovers their existence. The young boy is David, played by Hunter Carson. David is interested in space and really wants to be an astronaut when he grows up. One night, while David is sleeping, a thunderstorm wakes him up. He notices a spaceship land in the mountain area behind his house. Understandably, he freaks out because of what he saw. His father George, played by Timothy Bottoms, settles David down by saying he'll investigate what David saw. The next morning, George returns home, but he's acting weird. Not only that, but he has a weird mark on the back of his neck. David is quick to suspect something is wrong, but is unable to stop the threat that has landed in his backyard. Anyone taken to the crash site has an alien implanted into their heads. Kinda like Darkseid, actually. That's the second movie I was able to compare to Darkseid. Okay, in any case, George takes his wife Ellen, played by Lorraine Newman, to the crash site to get an alien implanted in her. More and more people are shown to have the marks of the alien on their necks. David's classmate and teacher are also found to have marks on their necks. There's a field trip that's planned for the class that is changed for the kids to be taken to the crash site. David gets out of it by pretending to be sick. He stays at the nurse's office and notices that she doesn't have a mark on her neck. So, David tells the nurse, who's played by Karen Black, about what's going on. Funny enough, this is the second time that Karen Black has come up in this year's Hyp3r Halloween. Weird. The nurse's name is Linda, and Linda is skeptical of this. I mean, who wouldn't be? David eventually heads over to the crash site of the alien spaceship, and that's when we get our first glimpse of the alien creatures. And I have to say, they look absolutely amazing. The leader of the aliens is this big brain-looking thing, and it looks a lot like Krang from the 1980s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show. David watches the procedures the aliens use to implant alien things into the back of people's necks, and that's how the aliens are able to control the humans. David goes back to Linda to tell her what he saw, and the two are chased by mind control humans. The two eventually go to a nearby military base to get help. The general that they meet doesn't really believe them at first, but he's quickly convinced when some of his men turn out to have alien implants. You see, the reason the aliens are there is because there's a rocket that's scheduled to go to Mars, but it was ultimately destroyed by David's father, who's again being controlled by the aliens. The alien invaders apparently knew about this rocket and saw it as an act of war, so they sent aliens to invade Earth to stop war from starting. The military decide to attack the alien ship and destroy all of the alien creatures. David and Linda are kidnapped by the aliens during this process. David pleads with the alien to let them go, but it doesn't work. He does manage to escape though, and gets help from the general to help rescue Linda. The group storms the ship, rescues Linda, and plants explosives. All of the humans escape, and the aliens fly away. David's parents go after David, but they return to normal as the alien spaceship explodes. Now for one of the most frustrating, lazy endings I feel like I've ever seen. As the alien spaceship explodes and pieces of it fly towards David's house, he wakes up. David's parents console him and say it was all a bad dream. I guess it was all the space stuff that he was reading about, but who knows. But then, an even more frustrating ending happens, as the same alien spaceship is seen landing in the same location, and the movie ends. So, while I do hate this movie's ending, I absolutely love the creature effects for the aliens. While I mentioned the brain-like leader alien that looks like Krang, there are also drone aliens. The alien drone costume used two people to operate them and to make them move. The two individuals were composed of a person of average height and a little person standing back to back. The little person was actually in a type of backpack on the back of the average sized person. The little person operated the alien drone's mouth and smaller arms, where the average-sized person propelled the drones and used ski poles to move their longer arms. Given the average height individual was backwards, they had to walk backwards too, making the alien appear to have legs that didn't look human. Apparently, different actors played the alien drones in different shifts. I can only imagine how heavy that suit was, and it must have been a pain to move around in. I mean, I've made a duct tape costume that was ridiculously heavy, and I can only imagine how much that alien suit weighed. Funny enough, only 2 alien drone suits were made for this movie. Editing was used to make it appear that there were more in the spaceship. It honestly reminds me of the info that I read about Slithis as well, and to be honest, I actually feel more sorry for the guy who had to be sewn into that suit now, given that this suit looks pretty much just as heavy, but at least there were other people to take over the role. Going back to the Krang-looking alien, he didn't actually have a person inside, but instead had a layer of bladders that would inflate or deflate to simulated breathing. And honestly, again, the effect looks amazing. Tobe Hooper's Invaders from Mars is actually a remake of a 1953 film of the same name. It's actually pretty cool because there are little Easter eggs from the original movie that are hidden in Tobe Hooper's movie. There are also call-outs to Tobe Hooper's previous films in this film as well. Now, if you're interested in Invaders from Mars, but would rather read a book about it, then you're in luck, as there was a novelization of the movie. It apparently goes for pretty cheap on the used market too, so grab a copy while you can. One other cool trivia before I end this review: Hunter Carson, the young actor who plays David, is actually Karen Black's son. I figured I would throw that out there since I mentioned that Karen Black is in this movie. You know, I do seem to be bringing Karen Black up a lot for this year's Hyp3r Halloween. It's weird how that works out. All in all though, Invaders from Mars is a pretty decent flick. The alien costumes look amazing, and I can't think of anything else like them. I like the story as well, and the movie definitely kept me interested, at least until the ending. In fact, that's my only main issue with the movie, the ending. So, if you're looking for a suspenseful sci-fi flick, give Invaders from Mars a watch.